What is up, my friends? Welcome back to the channel. This is Kate TV. I'm your host, Kate. Today, we're going to talk again about the cost of living crisis because it's wild out here, okay? In the United States, it is an absolute struggle. I don't know about you guys. I don't have a ton of money just laying around. So I am sticking to my budget. I'm trying really hard to not spend as much as possible. I couldn't even tell you the last time I got my nails done. My hair done has been over a year at this point. It's just not a priority for me at this point. I'm not going to go spend $300 to get my hair done or $100 to get my nails done when it's costing me $150 to buy food for myself. I know I'm gluten free, which really sucks. That makes my food, 50% more expensive than other people. I can't just buy canned food or bread or any of that stuff. I have to have certain types of food. So my grocery bill is a little heftier than other people's who don't have food allergies. But even still, $150 to $200 per week for one person is crazy work. It truly is. So, let me know in the comments if you're struggling. We can all just, bitch about it together because I don't know what else to do about it at this point. So let's let this man go ahead and talk about the economy.
For our very eyes. Restaurants are closing their doors for good in my city at a record pace. They're blaming it on a slow season, but I think it's something else. You
Mhm.
can't tell me the amount of abandoned strip malls that I drive by on a daily basis is normal. I know you've seen it too. All these places just get replaced with the capybara cafe de jour or a flower store to placate the masses, if you know what I mean. There used to be 24-hour diners, family owned restaurants, even bookstores. I don't know, third spaces. Now, nothing. Luxury apartments that sit vacant forever. Grocery stores that have been closed for 10 years. So much wasted space and empty parking lots until some TikTok trend comes, opens for 6 months, and then that closes too.
He's so right about this. I'm sorry to interrupt, but truly, this is so true. I've noticed this where I live. I've noticed this when I leave my town. There is just stuff shutting down left and right. Stores just closing their doors, can't keep anybody coming in. They can't keep business. And I personally have also worked in the restaurant industry for a long time. And the way that clientele on down is insane to me. And you know what? I don't blame people. Like, I have to admit to the quality of going out to eat nowadays is nothing compared to what it was even 5 years ago. It's just terrible now. You guys listen, unless you worked in a restaurant, like, and you've seen some of the things that I've seen, I'm telling you, I don't trust like 90% of restaurants anyway, because I know that because they're struggling so much financially, the care and love and not courtesy, but what's the word? Like food safety, all that stuff. Trust me, guys, it's not up to standard. It's not. Anywhere you go. Even the nice corporate restaurants who you would think they have more funding, they can train people better. No. You should seriously, I'm warning you, like, be wary when you eat out at restaurants nowadays because it's the Wild West out here, and food poisoning is no joke, guys. I had it a few weeks ago. I got food poisoning so bad that I couldn't eat for days. Like, I haven't been that sick in 10 years probably. So I'm just saying, be careful out there, guys. It's sketchy. People are, they're just trying to get by, and they're not as concerned about, is your food as safe for you to eat. They're more concerned about just getting it out the window, selling as much as possible these days. So just a fair warning, be careful when you go out to eat. Let's let him continue.
I know I'm not alone in this, but yet every single time I bring it up, I get all the bots in my comments telling me the economy's never been better. But I ask for who? Like 100 people at the top? So the
Honestly.
billionaires are doing great. I don't care. People like you and me, we're struggling out here. All my friends live in vans. And if we are lucky enough to have apartments or houses, we're living behind locked doors and closed blinds because there's no community here anymore. Restaurants
Mhm.
are just the beginning. They're the canary in the coal mine. Once they're gone, so are all of our meeting places, our birthday parties, our community, and third spaces. They're not just a place to buy food, they're a pulse of the neighborhood. And also, as a live singer, something hugely important to my job. I used to sing 5 nights a week. Now I'm lucky if I can find a Sunday night gig. So I'm just here to say if this is what a booming economy sounds like, it must be the sound of doors slamming shut. And I don't know about you, but I'm making my exit plan. We're moving to Portugal soon, where they still have cafes and restaurants that people actually go to. If you find that interesting, stick around, because I can tell you this is not normal. And don't let internet comments gaslight you into thinking it is.
I've also noticed that as well. A lot of people saying that they're just going to leave the United States. And hey, more power to you. That's great. But personally, I want to defend our land here. I want to make things better. I think we can turn the ship around. I don't want to just leave and abandon everything that we have here because why? Because some billionaires are harvesting everyone and they want to make money. And, there's way more of us than there are of them. And if we all leave, we can't all leave, we can't all pack up and just leave the country. A lot of us here, a lot of people are struggling so bad. They don't have money like that they could just buy a ticket and uproot and leave. Most people are really struggling and they're stuck here. And so I don't know, I'm of the opinion that we should just really try to make it better here while we're here. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe that's delusional. I keep saying it. I really think we can make things better and I think we can turn things around. And I think it starts with each and every one of us, your individual self, the decisions you make on a daily basis, where you choose to put your money, all of it. It really starts with you. That's what I think. That's my 2 cents on that.
It's really bad when entire generations like Gen Z and millennials are just basically throwing up their hands and saying, what's even the point?
This is what I'm struggling with in America right now in my 20s. Why is everything so expensive? Why am I making more money waitressing than I would make using my college degree?
Sorry, I have to pause. I did the exact same thing. I got a whole college degree. I fell for the scam. I went and I changed my major a few times, which wasn't the smartest thing. It prolonged the college experience, so it was even more expensive. And you know what? I'm out on the other side now, and that piece of paper, it's hanging in my kitchen, and that's the only thing it does in my life. I don't do anything with that degree. I went out, I waitressed for years, and in the past few years, I started my own business, and I've been trying to build that ever since. And let me tell you, that's not freaking easy either. Like running your own business, especially in this economy, it is very hard. I'm running into some hurdles with just getting business. And so I know, like, for me, it's a house cleaning business. So I can tell people are struggling by the lack of people that want their homes cleaned right now. This is back to school time. It's supposed to be a busy time, and it's been rough out here. So I feel this, girl. I totally do. I really feel like we were so scammed with college. We truly were. I wish I never went. It was a complete waste of my time and money and effort. And the only thing I learned was the burden and stress and anxiety of having looming debt over my head. That's the only thing that came out of that college experience for me. And I know a lot of other people have had the same experience, this girl too. And I want to also just say, I noticed too that my generation, especially of women, we have been targeted so much with propaganda and just, you need to buy this to be prettier, this to have your skin glow, this, this makeup, this hair product, these earrings, these clothes. It's nonstop. We're told, you're just ugly if you don't have these things. And I think I've noticed a lot of women particularly struggle financially. And I swear that's why, because we're told that we're worthless if we don't have all of these nice things and we don't look the part and we don't look perfect. Like even myself, I wear, t-shirts and I don't have a lot of money. I do my best to look as presentable as possible, but I'm not going to, I can't afford a $50 shirt, let alone, a nice fancy dress or something like that. It's rough out here. And, especially I really feel for young women because we're struggling out here. Like truly, it's rough for us.
I barely have a life. I have 2 days off and I work Wednesday to Sunday, doubling just to pay my bills.
Been there,
I'm
girl.
22 years old. All of my bills are in my name. I have no help. How are y'all affording housing? In Myrtle Beach, a 1-bedroom apartment is $1,500. How are y'all getting insurance, going to the doctor, getting medicine? And then some of us are trying to be TikTok influencers. Who knows where that's going to get me? Me and my boyfriend are saving, but we barely see each other during the week, and it feels like we're working ourselves out for nothing. Do we need to move somewhere for a better job opportunity that we don't know about? Do any of y'all really know what you want to do with your life right now? It is so scary being in America right now.
What am I doing wrong? I work every day and I'm still broke. Like, I have a decent job. I make some decent money, but I live out here in Cali. Like, bro, as soon as I get paid, I have all these bills stacked up, bro, that shit wipes me clean. Like, fuck, I got no money left over. Making $100,000 a year doesn't get you anywhere nowadays.
No, it doesn't. It's crazy. It really is. I also I've just noticed, everybody's working all the time, all the time. Everybody I know, everybody I see, you talk to them and the first thing they talk about is their job because you can tell it is the only thing they have in their life at this point. Because like that girl was saying, she barely gets to see her boyfriend because they're working all the time. What are we all supposed to do? Just completely neglect every single important aspect of our lives for the sake of working and keeping up with bills? Because that seems to be the trend of America these days. And you know what? It's not sustainable. It is not sustainable at all for anybody. The only people that this is working for, again, like we saw in the beginning of, this video, is the 100 people at the top. That's the only people that are benefiting from all of this. It's wild.
I'm really stressed today. I just went to the grocery store, bought 10 items, and it was $80 freaking already. I literally have $10 left on my account. So a little backstory. I got laid off from my job a month ago. And I've been applying for jobs months before I got laid off. Sent out hundreds of resumes already. Applied to hundreds of jobs on the internet, remote and on-site. Tailored my resume to every position that I applied using ChatGPT. Went to only a few interviews. And still nothing. Like, what the f is going on with America right now? Like, it's so freaking hard to live here. Like, I'm gonna stay positive. I'm gonna keep applying for jobs. I'm gonna keep showing up. But man, my bills are not going to wait.
Y'all.
Yeah. The job thing, it's great. Like I just got to a point where I was like, you know what? This is dumb. I'm not going to sit here and apply to 8 million jobs and get stuck and not get hired by anybody. I got to figure something out. And I always loved to clean, and I figured, why not? I mean, I'm going to break my back. It's going to be hard freaking work, but you know what? At least I'll always have work. And I'm telling you guys right now, I thought I'd always have work, but even right now, like, it's rough. It's struggles. It's a struggle out here. I feel for anybody that's locked into some sort of like corporate position, or where you really, if you can't get a job, you're kind of screwed, And even if you do have that job, you're getting paid such a low rate. It just isn't keeping up with the cost of living. I don't know how people are making it. I really don't. I mean, everybody's got to be working 3-4 jobs nowadays. That's what you got to do to live. Crazy stuff.
I just went today and got my driver's license renewed, my car tags renewed, picked up 2 prescriptions, and got a few groceries.
Oh, she spent $1,000 easy.
To say that I'm completely broke now is an understatement. So I'm going to have to go home and start selling off my furniture to be able to live the rest of the month. I mean, it's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. And my heart hurts today, truly hurts for people who are not able. And we're living in some rough times, really rough times. And we need to be praying for all those around us who are not as fortunate as we are to be able to do the things that we need to do. I'm not talking about extras. I'm not talking about going on vacation and doing fun things. I'm talking about living, taking care of your vehicle, if you can even afford a vehicle, putting groceries on the table, buying medicine, the things you have to do. It's sad. It's very sad.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm not kidding you. The car thing is so real. The way that the prices of cars, first of all, to buy a new car, even if it's not even a used car, you're looking at a $500 a month car payment, maybe even a $300 a month. That's outrageous. That's crazy just for the vehicle. Not to mention the insurance that you're required to have, the tags, the registration. You got to get tires for it, brakes, oil change the spark plugs, keep up with all the crap. This literally exact scenario happened to me last month. I had been working my ass off all year, trying to build my business, trying to make a profit here. And of course, something happened in my car and I had to drop $1,800 on it, just like that. Blinked and it's gone out of my bank account. Like, truly. And I've just been trying to catch up ever since, I really feel for people. I know I'm lucky. I'm very fortunate that I even had that money laying around, and I'm really glad. I'm thankful and grateful and blessed to have been able to afford to even pay for that car and still, at least make it to the next month and the next couple of weeks so that I could buy groceries again eventually. Like, I'm very fortunate to have income, but I don't know how people who don't have income are doing it. Even people who have like EBT and all that kind of stuff. I can't fathom how people are making it right now. I mean, the cost of things is just completely outrageous.
It's a really sad thing here. We have a generation that is right now trying to survive in the US, and they're doing it at a time that it is so difficult with the rising costs. I really do feel for the younger generation and even for the older generation. I mean, you're hearing the stories here that it's just so difficult right now. You go and do a few things and it's like your bank account is empty, and that is the reality. Money goes by so quickly, and the reason why is because, primarily in my opinion, wages have not kept up here in the US. That's a fact. And also the cost of everything has gone up so dramatically that right now it's just not lining up. It's really, really, really difficult to make ends meet. And you do have to start learning to do with less. Take out the luxuries in life, take out the unnecessary vacations, the unnecessary spending, take out the wants, and really just focus on the needs. And even just by getting the needs, purchasing the needs, taking care of your needs, even that really starts to draw people broke. And I'm seeing more and more that people are having a harder time to cope with this because it's getting too stressful. And even though this has been going on for years now, and if the pot continues to boil, I really believe things are just going to get a lot worse because people are already living on the edge, and you already can not afford something extra to happen or something extra to come up without just kind of going in the hole. So that's why I've been a proponent of just living as minimally as possible for years now, being as debt free as possible, and living frugally, because look at where we are today. Look at what's going on in the world.
Bro, the cost.
She's totally right about that. She's totally right. I'm telling you. Watch Jack Morgan RLP on here a lot. If you guys watch him, he's great. But he says a lot. A rich man is a man with no bills. I think like that's how he says it. But a man with low bills and minimal bills is a rich man. So I do my very best to keep things as low as possible so that I can make it. And that's even, I find myself, as things keep getting more expensive, I keep having to go through my budget, more and more often, and just look at it and be like, okay, where do I need to make cuts here so that I'm able to keep going? Because this is just not getting any better. It's really not for so many people.
Cost of living is insane right now. Like, what are we doing? I swear, before COVID, in my area, $20 an hour was like, you balling, you good.
Oh yeah.
Now, people that making $20 an hour, I'm like, man, how are they surviving? Like, this is insane. Fast food places are paying $20 an hour now. So $20 an hour is the new $10 an hour. Obviously, all of this is relative to where you live. So my $20 an hour, where I live in Northern Virginia, maybe your $16 an hour, or maybe your $30 an hour. It all really depends on where you live. Like, I can't be the only one that sees this stuff. Like, I can't be the only one that understands what's going on. And it honestly worries me that there's some people out there that make less than that. Like, think about the people out there that's making minimum wage. Like, probably have to work 2 or 3 jobs just to make up for, a livable income. It's insane.
I'm just mad. I'm just mad anymore. There's no reason for me to be like, yay, America, like we're so great, we're so free, we're so powerful. I'm starving. I have to go without so that my kid can maybe have Pop-Tarts once a month. Shouldn't be that way. We shouldn't have to go like, let's see, we haven't had meat in a long time, because guess what? We can't afford it, okay? But yeah, we're the ones working every day to make this country go round and round. But we're not worth being able to have decent food or the amount of food that we need to have one of our family members go without. I'm done. I'm so done. It shouldn't be this way. And I know that it's not just this way for me.
No, absolutely not. And you know what? I have to say, I feel really bad for people who are like diabetic and they need to they have to keep their blood sugar up or they start to get sick. I can't imagine the struggle right now, and the bills, and like the grocery bill, and insulin is outrageous. Now is not the time to have health problems, guys. I mean, truly, if you can help it, if you can take as best care of yourself as you possibly can, it's worth it. It's worth it right now to save a buck. It truly is. It's wild.
It's really bad when
All right, let's go. Let's watch one more.
The cost of living in this country is currently, it's not going to be, it is currently unsustainable. And there are people that they know this, but then they'll still look at somebody else that's struggling and then tell them they're not doing good enough. I want you to imagine somebody that makes $75,000 a year. That's a pretty high up wage in terms of like top earners in this country, $75,000 a year. And we're going to go through some things here. This is a person with no debt outside of a car. And please don't hit me with the, you can go buy a car for, shut up. You can't. Shut up. Stop saying ridiculous things.
Mm-hmm.
An entry level decent car is $30,000. So this person who puts $200 a month into insurance and they pay 5% into their 401k, because shut up, people should be able to put money into their retirement, because if you're not doing it now, you're never going to get to start doing it later. So after those two things come out of their paycheck and their taxes are paid, they bring home $53,850 a year from a $75,000 paycheck. Average rent in my state for a 1-bedroom apartment, because an adult should be able to live by themselves, $1,700. That car payment at 6% for an entry level, very reasonable sedan, nothing fancy. Car payment's $579 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Car insurance.
That used to be rent. You used to be able to go out. You could have a part-time job, hang out, blow with your friends whenever you want, and you could have an apartment for $500. Nowadays, unheard of.
$240 or so a month for a lot of vehicles in this day and age. You're a young person, you've got a nice job, but the insurance companies still want to screw you over. Food. You only cook at home. You never, ever go out. You only cook at home, and you only eat decent quality food, because a human being should be allowed to eat decent quality food.
Yes.
You pay $879 a month for that. You spend $250 a month in gas. You wear and tear on your car $100 a month. $80 for your phone, $80 for your internet, $175 a month for your electricity, $70 for your water, $20 for your cash. You make $75,000 a year, and outside of a car payment, you have zero debt. Do you know how much money you have left over annually?
My guess is like $1,000.
$75,000 wage. You do nothing. You don't own a Netflix. You don't go out on a date. You don't pay to go to a park. You don't go watch a movie. You do nothing. If you can't find it on the internet for free, you don't get to do it. If you can't cook it at home for your $800, you don't get to do it. You have $3,700 left over annually. That's like $320 a month. And
that's one emergency. Like if that car breaks, that's one emergency. Maybe 1.5 if you're lucky.
Well, dog's 300. Shut up. Shut your stupid, contrarian, edgelord mouth. That's not a doctor bill, because God knows, just because we have insurance doesn't mean that we don't still pay far out the ass when we go to the doctors. People like to be entertained. They want to date. They want to. There's those of you out there that will tell somebody living like this on $75,000 a year before taxes that they are not doing what they're supposed to do, that they should get a second job, that they should get a side hustle, that they should get a better job. And the fact that you would look at somebody with no debt other than a car and say something like this to them means objectively you're a moron and you live in a fantasy world. This is unsustainable.
Yeah, I'm really sick of hearing the whole, why don't you work more? Why don't you get another job? Why are you spending so much money? I don't know. I'm not spending money on anything. I literally am not spending money. I'm just surviving. I don't know. Like, I think it's so shitty when people really have something to say about that. You know, it truly is. It's always coming from somebody with plenty of money who apparently isn't feeling any effects of the bad economy right now. I know some people who truly, they don't even think things are bad. They literally think things are fine. It's really weird. Really weird, trippy. Let's read some of these comments before we go ahead and end the video. $75,000 is paycheck to paycheck now. Crazy. And the average salary in the United States right now, I'm pretty sure, is $40,000. And that might be a little high. Maybe it's more like 38. Think about that, guys. The American dream isn't dead. Greed is destroying the United States. Yeah, I'd say. The greed of the select few at the top, because it doesn't seem to be anybody around here. Like, we're all just struggling out here. $100 is like $20. Yeah. I hate spending over $50. Like, over $50 is just, I'm really hesitant to shell it out for anything, whether it's gas, going to the doctor. I don't care what it is. I'm going to sit there and really evaluate with myself. Do I want to spend this right now? Because that's $50. That's, 2 hours, 3 hours worth of work. They have us fighting each other over pennies while they stack their dollars. Yeah, exactly. That's so, so true. My wife and I both make 55K each, and we are barely able to save anything still. Yeah. I'm trying to save. I really am. I mean, I'm out here I'm trying to skip dinner a couple nights a week if I can, whenever. I'm trying to just, do whatever I can to cut costs, putting water in my shampoo and conditioner. Like, I know that's really cheap, but we got to do what we got to do out here. I make just over 100K. The only way I'm comfortable is because of very fortunate situations. I have a 10-year-old paid off car, no student loans, and I moved into my grandfather's old paid off house after he passed. I recognize how lucky I am. You're very lucky in that situation for sure. My salary is exactly $75,001.24 annually, and this is reality. I have to be extremely frugal and creative and run a side hustle to support my small family. It's brutal out here. Yeah, honestly, side hustles, as many as you can have. You know what I mean? Have everything on social media you can, make them all different accounts. Do what you can, like honestly, start a little side business delivering stuff or doing DoorDash, Instacart, that stuff. It's still kind of lucrative. You can make money there if you need to. Cleaning is a great side hustle. It truly is. You can turn it into a whole business if you can get enough jobs. Dryer cleaning, people need their dryers cleaned. Being a nanny, helping people with their kids, daycare is expensive. Just think of things that people need help with right now and try to make a little side hustle out of it. That's my advice. I know not everybody is capable of doing that. I know that not everybody's in a position where they're capable of doing that because they're busy with all this other stuff. I understand. But if you can, do what you can.
It's really bad when
I'm going to go ahead and end the video there, guys. Thanks for listening to me rant and talk a little bit more. Hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Love you. Bye. See you in the next one.